All right, enough fucking around. Consistency does not guarantee your success, but not being consistent guarantees your failure. You get what I'm saying? I've been posting on YouTube for about a couple months, but only recently I've been consistent. Like, I've been posting for the last few days, every single day, but consistently my videos have been getting worse and worse. I put in effort, I make these videos, and then maybe they get like 5, 8, 10 views. Some of them get like a couple hundred, but it's very rare. Like, at first, the idea of growing a YouTube channel and being able to help you guys was very exciting. Like, I felt motivated, but you know, like at this point, it feels like I'm talking to a wall. And this is the point where most people quit. They start something, they go hard for a few weeks, and then when they don't see results, they give up. You don't build an insane physique in 2 weeks. It takes years of training and eating right and showing up even when you don't feel like it. You don't become successful overnight. You grind in silence while nobody cares. And then one day, it clicks. You see the fruits of your labor. You don't develop discipline when things are easy. You build it when you keep pushing through those moments that make you want to quit. So if you're in that stage where it feels like nothing is happening, you're not seeing results for the work that you're putting in, good. That means you're exactly where you need to be. Because most people stop right here, right where you are. So if you don't give up, you will win by default. You need to be happy that it's hard, because that means most people in your position would have crumbled under the pressure and gave up. So whatever you're going through in life, the harder it is, the less likely that your competition is going to make it through. And all right, this is where it gets good. I read this book a while back called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and it taught me this. Most people struggle with consistency because they rely on discipline. But when the willpower eventually fades, you're left with nothing. But when you're driven by the 3 greatest motivators, faith, love, and sex, you don't need motivation. You don't need to fight temptation either, because when you learn to use faith, love, and sex to drive you, you have all the real subconscious motivation. It's so ingrained in the human psyche to be driven by those 3 that you will never stop chasing your goals when you learn how to master and attach them to what you're going after. Faith. Once you truly believe that your success is inevitable, consistency stops being an issue, because you no longer need motivation. You just know that if you keep doing what you're doing, you will get there eventually. Faith isn't just about religion, it's about believing in something so strongly that even if you know it hasn't happened yet, and even if you haven't seen the results, you know it's going to happen at some point. Think about this. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. Because, bro, you trust one day that if you keep watering that seed, it will become a tree. That's how faith works. Most people give up because they don't believe that they're going to succeed. They just start working out, posting videos, or working on a business. But deep down, they don't even know if it's actually going to work. And when things get hard, they quit because they never believed in it in the first place. But when you know something is going to happen, when you can feel it in your gut, when you believe in it so much that you feel like it's real before it even exists, you will keep going until it becomes real. So how do you use faith to your advantage? You need to rewire your brain. You need to act like success is already guaranteed. And all you have to do now is put in the work. It already exists in the future. Now you just need the steps to get there. So ask yourself, If I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do? Seriously, ask yourself, if I knew I couldn't fail, what would I do with my life? Then do whatever it takes to get there. Picture your success. The more you can think of that desirable yet realistic goal, the more your subconscious mind is going to push you to get there. When you picture a reality that is better than the one that you're living, and you know you have what it takes to get there, the idea already lit up in your brain, and now your brain wants it so bad that it will push you to the edges to get it. And when you have faith in that vision, when you create a vision that's so inspiring, so much better than the life you have now, you will push yourself until you get there. Number 2, love. Love is the strongest emotional force that we have. It's like, I'm not even just talking about like love in relationships. I'm talking about like passion. When you love something, you don't need to force yourself to do it. When you just naturally show up, you naturally put in the work. I'm talking about like when you're in love with doing something. Like, think about people who work for their families. They'll do whatever it takes. Think about artists who like obsess over their craft, or athletes who like dedicate themselves to a sport. That is fucking love in action. And Napoleon Hill said love is the highest form of emotion because it inspires creativity, consistency, and when you have that love, you will fight to the death to get what you want. When you love something, you'll never stop until you have it. So how do you use love to your advantage? How do you attach your goals to love? If you're not passionate about the process yet, you need to connect it to a bigger purpose, that purpose being love. Like, maybe you don't love working out, but you love the thought of how it's going to change your body. Maybe you don't love your job or love working extra hours, but you love the life it's helping you build. So how do you use love to your advantage? You need to rewrite your why every morning. The easiest way to master and to improve your consistency is to take 60 seconds every morning to write down why you want to change, connect the tasks that you have to do in the day to changing. You want to change because you love the thought of becoming someone new. You love the thought of being able to buy a new car. You love the thought of going to the beach and being able to take your shirt off for the first time and be proud of yourself, and seeing girls look at you and understand that they want you now because you look like someone new. You're not that fat version of yourself that you don't love. Remind yourself why you want to improve, and the more you love the thought of change, the easier consistency will come. Number 3, sex. Sexual energy is the most primal and powerful force in human nature. Every single great empire, every fucking leader, every ambitious man in history has been driven by it. And that's a fact. Most guys waste it though. Like, they burn it on cheap dopamine, porn, hookups, meaningless sex. Like, that is something that most men chase after, and they wonder why they're not successful. And when men do that, if you're doing that, you will drain your energy. The very, very energy that could be fueling you to become great. Fueling you to desire waking up in the morning, desire training hard. That's the same energy that you're wasting. You just haven't seen it in action yet because we've been taught since we were fucking 13 years old to waste it. Think about it. Have you ever seen an animal when they get like neutered or spaded, whatever it is? When you remove a bull's balls, it becomes like weak, like docile, like its masculine energy has completely been cut from the source, and they no longer care to become great. They no longer care to I don't even know how to explain this in like not being weird. Like, they don't care about becoming like the alpha animal. They don't care about fucking other animals. That energy is just gone. When their sexual energy is gone, they just sit on the fucking, like, they just don't want to do shit but eat. Napoleon Hill calls it sexual transmutation. And that's when you take that sexual energy and transmute it into something greater, like your work. If you can control the force of sex and not let it control you, you become unstoppable. And the unfortunate thing is it's hard. And that's why most men never are able to do it. So if you're wasting your time and your energy on shit like porn and having sex with random women, you need to cut that shit out. Like, I went through this shit for years. But until you realize that you've always been responsible for your porn use and for your sexual activities, it can't control you anymore. Once you take responsibility, it can't control you anymore. You need to learn to use that sexual energy to fuel you. Next time you feel that urge to have sex, to masturbate, understand it's your sexual energy wanting to be released. And you have two options. That's to watch shitty porn. Sorry, I gotta turn my car off. You have two options when you feel that urge: to watch shitty porn, have a shitty orgasm, and then hate yourself, or feel that energy and go on with your day, have fun, train hard, do your work, and feel like a fucking man because you can grab yourself by the balls and say, I control me. Test it out for 30 days. I'm being so serious. Like, tell yourself, I know my life would be so much better without porn. And I actually want to see how great it could be. So let me spend some time not wasting my energy and putting it into my goals and see what happens instead. So here's what no one told you about consistency. It's not about being like super disciplined or never feeling lazy. It's about love, sex, and faith. Love keeps you going because you care deeply about what you're doing. And then we have, what's next? Faith. Let's go with sex. Sexual energy gives you the fucking fire to push yourself to your goals. So when you learn not to waste it and to let it drive you, you will feel such a deep and sincere level of motivation that you've never felt before. And then we have faith. Faith makes success inevitable because when you believe in something so strongly, you'll do whatever it takes to make it become real. But most people will hear this and do nothing. So just don't be most people. Like, think about what I just talked to you about, apply it into your life, and I promise you, you'll never, I can't promise you you'll never struggle with consistency, but I can guarantee it will make you a better man. So here's my challenge to you. What is one thing that you're going to commit to no matter what? What is one thing that you can be consistent with no matter what? Whatever it is, just commit to it. Comment it, make it real so you can commit to it. And yeah, my videos aren't doing good. They're not blowing up. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to see what happens. Maybe in a year from now, I'll look back on this video and I'll feel proud of myself. Because I really do accept the reality that I might fail. I might make 1 million of these and no one watches. But I'd rather die trying than let myself fail by default. And one day when all of this pays off, which it will, and when it does, I'm going to look back at this moment, this car talk, and I'm going to be proud of myself because I stayed consistent when no one was watching. There's probably not a lot of people who are going to have this conversation right now or hear me right now. But this is the difference between those who get what they want out of life and those who don't. They don't stop when it gets hard. They don't stop when no one's watching. They just keep going even when no one notices them. Because when you're driven by those big three, faith, love, and sex, you can't quit. So stay consistent because your future self is watching. Peace out, boys. My name is Emmanuel. Nice talking to y'all.